Hey everybody, it's Mr. Warren here. I'm going to work out some examples that are very similar to your assignment in your workbook. All right, so we're just going to work out a bunch of problems where we're adding and subtracting positive and negative numbers. All right, let's start with an easy one. Let's say 8 plus 2. Okay, and we're going to use this number line to help us. Now, I know that you know the answer to this, and you probably know it so well that you don't even need to think about why the answer is the way it is. Well, this is the way I want you to think about it for this lesson here. So this first number is where you're going to start at. All right, so we're going to go out to positive 8. That's going to be 8 places over to the right. We're going to start right here. Now, if we're adding 2, you know that when you add positive 2, we're going to keep going to the right. We're going to go 1, 2 more to the right, and we end up at our answer, which is positive 10. So we went out 8 to the right, because that's where we start. Positive 8 is 8 to the right. And we went 2 more to the right, because that's what you do when you add a positive number. Okay, that's just a little bit of a review that's going to help us do the next one. Let's say that I have, I don't know, 9 plus negative 5. Okay, well, we're going to do the same thing. This first number here is where you start. Okay, so we're going to start at positive 9. That is going to be 9 places out to the right, right there. Now, if we're adding a negative number, we're going to do the opposite of what you do when you add a positive number. If I added positive 5, I'd be going 5 to the right, but I'm adding negative 5. So we're actually going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the left. And we end up with our answer of 4. Which, by the way, is the same thing as if we just done 9 minus 5. And adding a negative is the same as subtracting that same positive. So adding negative 5 is the same as subtracting 5. And we get the same answer, which is 4. Okay, let's try another one. Let's do 2 plus negative 6. Okay, so we're going to start at 2. So we're going to go 1, 2 to the left. We start right there. And now we're going to add negative 6. Well, if you're adding a negative means we're getting smaller. We're going to the left on the number line. So we're going to count to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that takes us past 0 and into the negatives over here. That takes us all the way over to negative 4. This is really the basic way to get started with negative numbers is counting along the number line. When you add negative numbers, you move to the left. It's the opposite of what you do when you add positive numbers. Okay, let's go ahead and do the next one. Let's say negative 5 plus negative 3. Okay, so now this changes our starting point. Our starting point is now a negative number. That means we need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the left. Okay, remember negative numbers are to the left of 0. And if I'm adding negative 3, well, if I add 3 normally, I go to the right. If I'm adding negative 3, I'm going to keep going to the left. So 1, 2, 3, and we end up at negative 8. That's our answer for that one. Oops. There we go. That was what I was looking for. My eraser button. What did I want to say about this one? Now, if you notice, negative 5 plus negative 3 gives us 8, just like 5 plus 3 would give us positive 8. Okay, so when you're adding two negatives, you actually just forget the signs and add the numbers together and then add back in that negative sign. Don't worry about that, though. We're going to talk about a shortcut way for doing all this addition and subtraction later on. For right now, I just want you to use the number line. Okay, let's try another one. Let's say negative 4 plus 7. Okay, where are we starting? We are starting at negative 4. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left. Where are we going? We're adding positive 7. That means we're getting bigger by 7. That means we're going to be moving to the right 7 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that takes us to our answer, which is 3. Okay, let's do some subtraction. Let's take an easy one. Let's do 5 minus 2. Now, again, you have to ask yourself, where do I start? That's the first number. The first number always tells you where you're starting. So I'm starting out here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right of 0. Starting there. Which way am I going? Now, if you subtract a positive number, your number gets smaller. You go to the left. Okay, so we're going to go to the left 1, 2 places, and that takes us to our answer, which is 3. And you know that 5 minus 2 is 3. I just wanted to review that so we can see what happens with negative numbers. Let's take a problem with a negative number now. So let's do 3 minus negative 4. Again, we are starting 3 to the right of 0. 1, 2, 3 out here on the number line. Now, which way are we going? If I subtract a positive, I go to the left, which means if you subtract a negative, you're going to do the opposite of that. Subtracting a negative makes us go to the right. Subtracting a negative makes the number bigger. All right, so here we go. 3 minus negative 4 means I'm going to keep counting out 1, 2, 3, 4 places, and I'm going to get my answer, which is, let me erase this. I'm going to get my answer, which is positive 7. By the way, subtracting negative 4 is the same as adding positive 4. Try a couple more. Negative 3 minus 2. Okay, so this is a negative 3, and we're just subtracting plain old positive 2. We're going to start out 1, 2, 3 to the left. And if I'm subtracting 2, well, which way do we go when you subtract a positive number? If you subtract a positive number, your number should get smaller. Your answer will be smaller. So that means we need to go to the left. So we're going to go out 1, 2 more. And our answer is negative 5. So always ask yourself the 2 questions. Where do I start? Now, that is your first number. Where am I going? That depends on the sign and the number that you are subtracting. Subtracting 2 means we went to the left, and that's why we got negative 5. Let's try a couple more. Let's try 3. No, we already did a positive minus a negative. Let's do a negative minus a negative. Negative 4 minus negative 9. Okay, where am I starting? I'm starting at negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which way am I going? I'm subtracting a negative. Subtracting a negative takes us to the right on the number line. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That takes us to our answer, which is 5. Now, I know this might seem tedious, and you're probably thinking to yourself, there's got to be a quicker way. And there is, but for today, for just this introduction to negative numbers, that's the way I want you to do it. Okay? So the main things to keep in mind are when you are adding a negative, you go to the left. Adding a negative, you're going to the left. If you subtract a negative, you go to the right on the number line. Okay, I hope that answers all your questions. If you have any questions, feel free to message me on this YouTube video or on Classroom. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.